What's good, everybody? It's your brother Mad Black, the most dangerous and the most toxic black man on the internet, and I am black up in your face again with some more pro-black commentary. So, one of the reasons you haven't seen me upload as much or as regular with my content on this channel is because I am still under a community strike. So, because one of my videos got taken down, my channel is still being monitored and looked at for a, what they call a community strike. Now, that strike is supposed to go away in March. We'll see if it actually goes away, or will they add something else later on, or will they find some other content in my videos to quarrel about in order to just keep the community strikes going and going and limiting my abilities to post and link and everything else on this channel. But, I'm going to keep on pushing, and there's a lot that I want to talk about and a lot that I have to say on this channel. And one of the things I want to talk about very specifically is, the fact that you'll have so many content creators like myself and others here on YouTube, whether it be, the Radical Home Sister or Sean James or Torian Rain or Your Views or Mr. Superboy's channel, where we'll upload content and YouTube is known for taking our content down or taking it away or saying that it's hate speech or, maybe claiming that what we say in our videos might actually cause some violence or cause someone to be hurt. But, they spend so much time monitoring what we're doing and what we're saying on YouTube. And there are literally white supremacists killing people on YouTube. And those videos, like someone actually has to go and physically alert YouTube to the fact that there's, gruesome deaths being portrayed on YouTube. And what I'm talking about is a very specific story where this white man who, his name is Justin Mohn, and he's been arrested for killing his father. Okay, and not only did he kill his father, he chopped his father's head off and displayed his father's severed head on YouTube. Okay, and this happened, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I will give credit where credit is due because there's a brother who's a longtime fan of my channel, Justin Contrail. He's the one that found the original story and posted it to me I guess maybe like 3 weeks ago. And, he's the one that originally sent it to me. And I just been following the story. I've been waiting to see what is going to happen with the legalities of it before I reported on it. But they're kind of moving very slow when it comes to any type of real legal charges. But I wanted to bring this up because the conversation of the way YouTube does its best to censor black content creators and is not watching these white supremacist content creators. Because the man that killed his father, he was basically a white supremacist. He was one of these Alex Jones white conspiracy theorists who talks about how evil the federal government is and we need to fight back against the government and all this other stuff, right? He's written several books about it. He's talked about it on his channel. And the quote unquote reason that he killed his father was because he said his father was a traitor because his father worked for the government. And I'm somewhat laughing at that because it wasn't like his father worked for like this high end, government like the FBI or CIA or anything like that. His father was just a federal worker. And this fool shot his father in the head and then cut his father's head off. And sad to say, it was the mother that found the father's body without its head in the bathroom at their home. And I think he had by this time, Justin Mohn, had left his house and left his father's body in the bathroom and left the father's head in like a bowl or a pot or something like that. I don't know if he was going to cook it or what, but he killed his father And then they discovered that on his YouTube channel, he had showed his father's severed head to his audience. And, you know, the sick part about that is I've never seen the video. I didn't get a chance to see the video, and I guess it's hard to find now. There's images of it, and I saw an image where it was a still image of him holding his father's head, and that even that is kind of blurred out. But, you know, this fool was one of these people who always got online talking trash about how we need to start a new revolution. He even talked about like how people born at a certain point in time or during a certain decade need to rise up against their elders and kill their elders and stuff like that. And I guess he actually did it. So you can't say he was bullshitting at that. He actually did exactly what he preached for people to do. But he was putting out this type of rhetoric all the time, and somehow that wasn't seen as hate speech. That wasn't seen as inciting violence, even though he was actually calling for violence on his YouTube channel, which I don't understand. Like, okay, so you can actually call for violence and then commit a violent act, and it still takes people to alert YouTube to your heinous act, because YouTube had that video up for a while. They let that video stay up where he's holding his father's head that he just cut off with a machete. And it took people, some people with some sense. I'm sure his audience, his regular audience, probably didn't say anything, but some people with some sense found the video and they decided to report it to YouTube, and then they finally took it down. I'm surprised they didn't leave it up there like they did with the man that likes to shave his anus. They left that video up saying that was okay, but I'm surprised they didn't leave this video up with this man cutting off someone's head. They probably surprised they didn't like say it was like some sort of medical reason why they could leave that video up, and that wasn't hate speech somehow or causing violence somehow, even though they're showcasing a violent act. But, you know, this is how YouTube seems to operate. It has two different sets of rules for different people. Once again, they love to monitor black content creators and see what they're up to and monitor what we're saying. And we have no freedom of speech on social media. Now, if you're a black content creator that likes to coon and buffoon and down your own people and talk bad about black people or talk about these ridiculous relationship debates, they'll let you stay all the day long. You can post several videos a day talking trash about black people and bringing black people down. But if you're talking about black people being together or black people uplifting themselves, then they want to take your stuff down and say that that's hate speech, especially if you're someone like myself who talks about black men and black women being together and forming a family unit. So like that, because the last video that I did that got taken down was a video talking about divestors. Apparently that was too much for YouTube, and somehow YouTube said that video was going to inspire hate or violence against people who divest or people who are in interracial relationships somehow. But this white boy, Justin Mohn, can get online, talk about taking down the government and taking down his father and killing the generation that came before you, and then he actually does it, and somehow that video stays up. People have to protest or bring it up to YouTube to let them know, hey, you got someone who literally just murdered his father online and is posting it on his YouTube channel. You might want to take that down before little children see a severed head on their YouTube feed. You see? But once again, they got all the pressure and all the eyes on people like us because of the content that we put out there, but are now watching these demons cutting their family members' heads off and doing all types of nonsense on there. And he was one of these crazy white boys. Like to me, he came off as, from what the other videos I've seen of him, he came off as one of these very entitled white males who basically lives in victimhood, what they accuse black people of doing. This white boy was all about that. He was all about the government or whoever was making his life difficult. He even tried to sue the federal government because he couldn't pay his student loans. Yeah, he was one of those type of white boys. He said that the government didn't tell him that whatever degree he got was not going to guarantee him getting a job, and that messed his life up because he couldn't pay his student loans back. So he blamed the government for that. So basically, this white boy was one of these white male conservatives who lived in victimhood. It was always everyone else's fault as to why he couldn't accomplish anything, and he finally took it out on his father and killed his father and showed his severed head on YouTube. So, you know, apparently these folks can make all types of content that they want, or whatever type of content they want on their channels, but we have to play nice on ours and have to deal with suspensions and community strikes and all this other garbage. So, I mean, you folks can let me know how you feel about this in the comments section. I very much like to hear your opinions on this story. And I might do more about this when we get to the actual legalities of this or the trial. I'm sure they're going to play the insanity defense. They're going to try to say he was insane or whatever. But, this devil needs to be buried up under the prison for what he did, because he obviously was not insane when he was writing books about this and talking about it and then actually doing it and showing it on his YouTube channel. Anyway, folks, let me know in the comments what you think. And this is Mad Black, and I most definitely will be back on my foot on the devil's back.